Hey, what is up, my tricksters? It's your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh! Superhero. And oh my goodness, what is it? A Saturday video? Oh, yeah. Um, I wasn't able to give you guys another Master Duel Monday because, again, I was doing that collab with Yada Locked, and that was uber fun. But it was very tiring and exhausting, so I didn't have the energy for a Master Duel Monday. So, we skipped it. Again, so I'm making sure you guys get a Saturday video. I wanted this video to come out for Friday, but unfortunately, I just could not get the deck to work right. And by the time I finally did figure out how I wanted it to work, it, yeah, it was really late, and I just didn't have the time to record. So we're doing it today. So you guys are gonna get this as a Saturday video. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I want to remind you guys where you can go if you want to support this channel and maybe help me get a better camera so I can stop doing this. If you guys want to help support the channel, the best ways to do that right now are through my Your Playmat link, where you can go and get custom sleeves or mats that you can put anything you want on them. I'm going to show the camera here what I'm talking about. Your Playmats makes custom sleeves with anything you want on them. Here's mine. Mine has my little logo on it. So if you guys want to do that, you can go to Your Playmat and they'll put any image you want on a mat. Also, if you check out my Instagram, which is in the end card, you can always go and if there's any artwork I've created you want to use, you're welcome to use it for your Playmat stuff. The other way you can support this channel is through my merch store. That's also going to be in the link tree in the bio. Make sure you check that out. I've got tons of artwork there and more artwork on the way. I've just got to, finish it. Yeah, I think that's all I need you to know for now. I'll keep you posted as we develop more ways for you guys to support the channel. Anyway, let's get into the replay footage. We're going to kind of go old school with this, and then we are going to show you the deck profile. So, let's get to that replay footage. All right, there you have it, guys. So, obviously, some of those replays are going to look a little bit weird to you, especially when you look at the deck, because you're like, hey, some of those cards aren't there anymore. I'm gonna explain that. So, here in the side deck, you're going to see some cards that I want to talk about. Namely Chalice, Effect Veiler, and Nebula Dragon. So initially, obviously, I like the Blue Eyes Invoked deck. That's just the deck that I enjoy of the Blue Eyes variants. I know that one of the ones that's popular that's making the rounds right now is the Control variant of Blue Eyes, which is actually really interesting and really kind of makes it feel like it is more, well, I want to say, actually, in my opinion, it makes it feel less rivalistic with the Dark Magician deck. But the reason I say that is because Blue Eyes was always, like, historically, like, this front row heavy, like, smash 'em deck. And then Dark Magician was kind of the control style. Now it seems like they're trying, like, Konami's trying to make Blue Eyes and Dark Magician almost have the same strategy, almost. It's just, oh, this one's with a dragon, and this one's with a spellcaster. And then, of course, the idea is, like, they're both trying to, like, you know... Well, of course, Dark Magician's still leaning more into the control, but the idea is the control aspect of the Blue Eyes deck is like, oh, we're going to just make you waste all your resources stopping all of our trap cards, and then we'll make a big dragon and smash you. Whereas Dark Magician's just like, no, you won't even get the opportunity to do anything. That's the idea, anyway. This one just... But I decided to kind of mix that control thing with the previous Invoked Blue Eyes build and just kind of, especially the ones that have been on my channel, and kind of give you guys a showcase. Now, obviously for your own decks, there are better cards you can play, which I will discuss as we go. So first of all, for the deck profile, we also got to have triple Blue Eyes White Dragon. It just doesn't feel right. I know a lot of Blue Eyes players right now are lowering the number, and they're like, well, if the third one's still there in Spirit with alternative, which is true. I'm not comfortable with it, to be honest, so that's why. Although I could talk myself into doing 2 and 2, but right now I'm not comfortable with it. Alternative, also remind you guys, also has the graveyard effect that while it's while it is in the field or in the graveyard, this card is Blue Eyes White Dragon, so that does come up. Now I have Chaos Emperor. That's because I don't have any of the good ones. The other ones that you guys can do are, yeah, this one. Chaos Emperor, the Dragon of Armageddon. This one's a popular one. And, of course, Levineer, the other Chaos Dragon, is also very popular. I just don't have those cards. So, because I don't have them, I'm not playing them. So, I'm playing the old school one. And I figure that's fine, honestly, for the build that I have here. The reason why is because I play Skill Drain. And the idea of that is to say, like, oh, well, big monsters. Now it's a fist fight. That's the idea. If you do end up going up against something like Eldritch that's more back row heavy but just has one singular monster, let them play their skill drain because it does benefit you. Take yours out and get like back row hate cards. That's just, just a little siding advice there. Spirit Dragon, because Spirit Dragon can get around your own skill drain to still get rid of back row and also play bigger monster. Tyrant of D. I'm not calling it its English name. It's not going to happen. Just, no. Damn it, Cali Effect. I blame you for the reason I'm having trouble keeping a straight face right now. He just had to... I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It's not going to happen here. Damn it. Tyrant of D is like Magician's Souls, but for Blue Eyes. Basically, you special summon this guy by pitching Blue Eyes White Dragon from the deck to the graveyard, which is good, helps us go. I actually think you should play 3 of this. I just don't have 3. I actually ordered another one thinking 2 was enough, and now I'm over here thinking I should have ordered 2 more. That's alright, I'll go to my locals and either trade or buy another one. But yeah, this card's really good. It's really handy. You definitely want this card in the field. Also, it's really fun because a lot of players seem to forget his on-field effect, which is to basically force when your opponent attacks, you get to pick the cards, not your opponent. So I can't tell you how many rage quitters I've had who I just force them to smack into a Blue Eyes, and they're like, oh, or something bigger, and they're just like, why? What the hell? And I'm like, yeah, it's really funny. I just didn't keep them because they don't make for good replays because they just kind of quit after that. Then we got the Invoker. This is to get us to our main negate, which is Mechaba. That's really all he serves as a purpose for. Then we got your Ash Blossom because, you know, you kind of need hand traps, and this one's just the most versatile. I don't really like hand traps. I'm gonna be straight up with you. I don't really like hand traps, but they're a necessary evil right now. So, and then you got the stones, which you will need these because these work in tangent with excuse me, Tyrant of D. And then we got a lot of like cards like this. Like we got Return of the Dragon Lords because basically it's monster born for the big dragons as well as a protection card in the graveyard. Also, fun fact, our Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon is level 8. Which means if this guy dies, you can bring it back. That's just a little fun fact there. Ancient Whitestones are gonna, you know, they're gonna search your special Blue Eyes cards. Then we got your Feather Duster because back row. Trade-in, we don't really need trade-in as much anymore, thanks to Tyrant of D. I honestly think I might only have it in here as a tech in the future because I'm really leaning towards going like triple Tyrant of D. Yes, I am calling its OCG name. I'm not gonna call it the TCG name. It's not gonna happen. it's too stupid. Then we got the Melody. This card gets you these guys. Also, it will get you the Chaos Emperor. Upstart, just a free draw. You don't have to play this card. You can take this out and play something else in here if you want. Terraforming is to get to Magical Meltdown. One Invocation because I only own one. This is based off my personal deck, by the way. That's why the ratios and card choices are weird. Because if it was just on Edo Pro, I would just play the cards that, like, you know, the ones that, like, I know would work. Like, I'd trade double Invocation, and, like, this would be 11 or something. And I would only have probably, like, one trade in and triple of the Tyrant of D in here. For consistency's sake, but, unfortunately. Ultimate Fusion is really handy because Ultimate Fusion actually lets us recycle our resources back while simultaneously giving us a really powerful monster because all the Blue Eyes Fusion monsters are powerful. The only thing that sucks about this card is I wish that it was a little more open to what you could fuse for with it. So this one only lets you fuse for anything that requires either the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon or the Blue Eyes White Dragon itself. So that's the only thing it will let you use it for. Which I wish that it would let me just push back anything, you know, as long as I'm using a Blue Eyes or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon as fusion material. But yeah, I guess Konami was didn't want me to do that. So anyway, because, like, I guess they were afraid of you using it, like, you know, like how I would probably use it, which is, like, to fuse an Alistair and a Mechaba in the graveyard to make a... Or an Alistair and a, you know, and a Blue Eyes to make a Mechaba in the graveyard or something. Because that's what I would do with it if it worked that way, but it doesn't. Magical Meltdown is actually really helpful, obviously, because it's going to protect your fusions. Make sure your fusions go off. Imperm. Now, some of you guys are going Imperm and Skill Drain in the same deck. Yes. Believe it or not, you will need this much negation. Imperm is going to get used as a hand trap, but it's also, as you guys maybe saw in one of the replays, it can turn off back row, which is so important. I underestimated how important that was going to be for this particular deck. Honestly, I've underestimated Imperm for a lot of things. Because oftentimes, in my experience, Forbidden Chalice or Effect Veiler really fills out its purpose just as good in most cases, in my personal experience. But for this deck in particular, the Imperm was just so much more necessary than those cards. And I know because as you guys probably saw in some of those replays, I had these guys in there. I tested these cards in here. This became much more useful. I don't like it, but it's in the right, like I said with any hand trap, right now it's a necessary evil. The True Light, another card I really don't like playing, but we actually do need this card because now this card is not just a bring a Blue Eyes back, it's a consistency piece. Used to, you would just go get the Ultimate Creature of Destruction or something. That would be like, you know, another protection card for the Blue Eyes. Then now, we're using it more, in this deck's case, to go get that Ultimate Fusion. The idea is, like, also with the main target being this guy. And the reason why is because Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon is immune to all trap cards, period. He doesn't care, he's unaffected. As long as he's on the field first, or before the trap card resolves, he's even keeps his powers under skill drain. Fun fact. As long as skill drain is not up before he's up. So that's the really cool thing. Is so basically he doesn't die from the True Light. So if our opponent, you know, just, you know, Cosmics, MSTs, Feather Dusters, the True Light away, well, he doesn't go away by the True Light's effect. So that's really powerful and really handy. Then we got the skill drain. This really turns everything into a fist fight. And honestly, that's way more vital than people may think, especially because in this deck we actually can get out some really big monsters, like the Blue Eyes Tyrant Dragon and the Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. The reason why we picked this one instead of the regular Ultimate is because this guy cannot be targeted or destroyed. So basically, under a fist fight and then like backed up with something like an Alistair, this guy can pretty much win it all. You know. But if we have the skill drain taken away, this card is actually not as a hindrance as a lot of people might think. Also, fun fact, if we were playing against a Sky Striker deck, this guy would actually be really helpful. Because we just fuse away our Blue Eyes cards, make this card, they're back in the deck, they're not gone. They're still able to be used, and that's really important. And then, of course, this guy's like, oh, can't be targeted or destroyed, which is like 90% of Sky Strikers, well, as currently, right now, Sky Strikers' style of removal. That will change when they get their new support, because they're getting a Kaiju, so we'll have to update this deck again in the future, but yeah. And plus, there are other updates that I want to do to change the deck around. I'm going to go ahead and discuss that with you. We got Twin Burst, because this one can be contact fused. So if you had an alternative and a Blue Eyes or two regular Blue Eyes on the field, you could just do that way, as well as also use Ultimate Fusion. And the reason why is this guy can't be killed in battle, and can also banish monsters he didn't kill in battle. So that's important. Makaba, we need that. Tyrant Burst can attack everything. It's like the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, and I'm gonna talk about some Therio towards the end here. With this card. It's unaffected by trap cards, and if it destroys a monster at the end of the battle, you get to get a trap card back, which means we can get any of these guys back if they're in the graveyard. So that's one of the really cool things. We also have Invoked Trio. Our fire monsters for this are going to be All Mirage and Nightmare Phoenix, and of course Ash Blossom, or if our opponent happens to be playing any fire monsters. This guy also can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. But this guy does inflicts piercing damage, which I wish he did, but he doesn't do that. But that's why we have them both. They both serve the same role, just this guy's a lot bigger than him. Then we got the Invoked Caliuga, or Caliga. This card basically is a slow the game down, make it like, you know, make it to where the opponent isn't so froggy. Another fun thing that's happened is I've gotten this guy out with Tyrant of D and a Blue Eyes, and then watch my opponent go smack into a Blue Eyes, and then they get mad because they thought they could get rid of the Caliuga by battle. Because the really cool thing is, basically you only get to attempt to activate one monster effect, you only get to attempt one attack. So you only get to attack with one monster. Well, if your opponent happens to have one monster and you have this guy, you still get to attack all of them. That's a really cool little thing there. So we actually have some floodgatey moves, which is something Blue Eyes isn't really used to, which is why I really like this deck. We also have Azure Eyes and Blue Eyes Spirit Dragon. These cards are just kind of classic Blue Eyes support. You kind of need them. This is the in archetypes Abyss Dweller. This guy is our bring back normal dragon and smash. We got our own Spell Negate, which is Hope Harbinger. This isn't something you're probably going to make early on unless you happen to draw the right hand. Just to be honest with you, because these are the guys you're going to be using as your material. Then we have our Link monsters. They gotta kind of get used later on. Unicorn and Phoenix. Secure Gardna and Almirage are the ones that see the most play. You could also put Link Karibo in here if you want to. I do think it is better than Relinquished Anima. But I don't know. I really like the idea of like using Relinquish Anima on an unsuspecting player, and because it's like, you know, because they're not expecting it in this deck, and then like taking their monster or forcing them to, you know, respond to this. Also, if we just need a spellcaster, like if we were stuck under something stupid like Sacred Village, we could potentially turn our. We already have 5 main deck spellcasters, but we could turn that 5 or 6 into, you know, anywhere between, you know, 8 and 9, that kind of thing. So we can just kind of up our numbers a little bit there. Yeah, so that's all that. And then, of course, the only really thing that I think you should be siding here, you probably should have the Pancratops, the Token Collectors, and the back row hate. The rest is up to you. Of what you want to have in here, that's up to you. I just threw some generic cards to help so I could, you know, see this deck get some wins. These cards are, like I said, these were just in here as testing. A Nebula Dragon is really cool. It does help get Hope Harbinger out more, but it honestly just doesn't come up as often as you know, to justify playing it. Like I said, or like I discussed with Imperm, there's a reason why Chalice and Valor aren't in here anymore. It's not to say that they'll never be back in this deck. They might come back in the future. I don't know. It just kind of depends on what we can build in the future. All right, so now you're probably wondering, well, why is Track Black here? The reason why is I want to go ahead and turn you guys on to a strategy that might be coming on later down the line, which may be a different strategy for Blue Eyes. So if you're a Blue Eyes player and I've made it this far, I'm about to reward you heavily. See, I already planned on using this card. You guys have probably, if you've been a long-time subscriber, you've seen me use this in my Dinosaur deck. But this card is actually going to be really helpful for this deck as well. Because here's the thing. What you could do is to play a more of a going second Blue Eyes build. And basically what your goal is to do is to get Track Black, a Dark Ruler No More, and this guy on the field, basically. Because basically then what you're doing is you're going to attack all your opponent's monsters, killing them, because all their effects will be turned off. Then you'll have the Track Black, making this guy, every time he kills something, you're going to get a, you know, your Dark Ruler No More or whatever is going to, you know, they can't take any damage, but at least you're going to get to draw cards for every one of those things. And then after that, this guy's going to give you a trap card, probably that you used before then, like an Imperm or something, to slow them down even further. And then basically getting astronomical amounts of plussing. I think that is the future of the Blue Eyes deck, honestly. The future of the Blue Eyes deck is going to be involving this Link monster, this Fusion monster, and cards like Imperm and Dark Ruler No More, and probably Droplets. Your strategy will go to be actually more resembling something like what dinosaurs do, thanks to this guy existing. Anyway, guys, make sure you test that out. Let me know how it's working out for you. If you're new to the Been 10,000 yugioh channel, please consider subscribing. I'm trying to get to the 10,000 mark, and I know it's a lofty goal, but I know you guys can get me there because I've already seen you do some crazy stuff as it is. Like, honestly, the fact that I got to this point as fast as I've gotten is borderline a miracle. So I want to see if we can do this. So share this with all your Yu-Gi-Oh friends. Leave a like if you like the video and the deck profile, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Also, feel free to suggest budget options for this deck. I'm always looking for cheap and really cool strategies for the Blue Eyes deck. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I've been 10,000 yugioh. I am your friendly neighborhood Yu-Gi-Oh superhero, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.